Fantastic and welcome to my YouTube channel. Don't forget you can click subscribe completely free of charge or follow me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/TheKapFantastic. Hope you enjoy the vids.
This button and say hello and good evening. I hope that worked. Please make sure that worked. Yes, that worked. Hello, hello, hello. Twitch, this is the second time I have seen you today. I'm still very tired, but we're here and we're going to talk about TikTok tonight.
Yars.
Yars. The ticky talkies. The ticking talkings. So, oh, have we had another comment on Twitter? No. It's alright, it was just me. Cap is kind of quiet. Okay, hang on.
Oh god, don't stop.
No,
don't
it's fine.
That.
I have now turned him all the way up. Is that
Brilliant.
better?
Am I now profoundly loud? I can actually increase my own gain this side as well. How's about that?
It's good.
Okay.
Counteracts says it's good now, so we're fine. Seamus,
love it.
Welcome. Thank you. Yeah, so redemptions are turned off as this is a podcast, so I can't have redemptions going off and try and manage a show at the same time. It's a little bit much. Anybody who was in my stream last night, like Canarek was, it got a bit crazy, so they're off now. But hopefully we have both of our volumes at a decent point because fucking hell have we had problems with this show to get this tech sorted out. So no chaos today, Trisk. No, it was glorious, but yes, no chaos today. We are going to be good little bunnies today, aren't we?
Come on, people.
You can't.
Let's behave like good little Easter bunnies.
No, not the piss flaps. You won't be able to do any.
Never the piss flaps.
Never the piss flaps. You won't be able to do any of that today because they're all turned off. So I just can't have them going off when I'm doing a podcast because it's
trying to have a salient thought as an adult is hard enough.
Yeah, especially when somebody's going giggity or not the piss flaps or it was at this point that he knew he'd fucked up. You know, all of that. So anyway, tonight we're going to talk about Cap was having his own wonderful time. We've just been talking about it, so you know, I'm sure that if we wanted to reenact it, you guys would be open to that. So don't panic. There will be other opportunities for the chaos. But we are going to talk about TikTok tonight. It's obviously a hot topic at the moment, so we've got some thoughts on that. I'm just going to have a bit of water, and then if you're okay, we'll do like the usual 5-second count in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all set, babe. Let's
set,
rock
babes.
and roll. I'm looking up TikTok in the news as we speak. See what the latest is. Cal
sent me some notes about the bill, but I was like, this is great, but I don't think we're going to get into that detail because most of it's around the social side of it and our experience of it rather than the legal legislation that's happening in the US that might affect it. So
yeah.
Yes. Anyway, imagine if dragons were enabled back then. Yeah, dragons had to be turned off because it broke, which is probably a good thing. Otherwise, it would have just been absolute. Well, it was absolute chaos. But anyway, right, we are going to go in. Are we going to go in? Oh no, I can't read the end of my notes. Hang on, I can't do that. That won't work. I don't want to.
Hands are ready.
I don't want to have to scroll across the screen to read the notes.
I'm just slowly losing it over here.
Which means I'm going to have to do this, which it's not going to let me do. Hot for Dommers. I think I've got it. I'm going to have to make the text smaller, which then means I can't read the fucking thing anyway because I'm blind. So, anyway, right. I don't know why I've got such nerves about tonight. I'm procrastinating about getting started and I don't know why.
I'm sorry, I've just got the giggles for some reason. I don't know why.
Why have you got the giggles?
I don't know. I just lost it completely for a minute. I don't think you even noticed. I
was trying to adjust the notes so that I could read them.
Charlie Brook was like, Cap's lost it. And I was like,
I can see. I was like, what have you done? What's happened?
I will do a countdown in a second. I swear I'll recover in time to look professional. Oh, God.
You okay there, love?
Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Oh, dear.
Oh, I've got sweat on now.
Okay. Deep breaths.
Yeah, let's go.
Accidentally twinning. Okay, and in 5, 4, 3. Fucking hell, there's a knock at the door. I'll start again. Come in, kiddo, quickly. Quickly. We're trying to start the podcast.
Oh my God.
He's in his onesie.
It's so
onesie,
good.
Food, hoodie. Yes, I know that's what you want, but I'm not doing that right now.
I'm just showing you.
This is not right. For the next half an hour, unless it is vital, life-threatening information, I don't need to know it. This is not out.
Gang, this is like, seriously, what you're seeing here is parenting 101. The number of times I've said, if you interrupt me in the next insert time here because I need a moment to either cry quietly on my own in the bathroom over the realities of parenting or just cope with something, like, if you interrupt me in this time, unless it's literally life or death, if you are not actually on fire,
don't knock again. Unless it's
something will happen. It's an idle threat. It's an empty threat, but it's like something bad will happen if you are not on fire the next time you knock on the door. One of these days he's going to knock on the door and it's actually going to have like a loose limb, or be bleeding out or something, you know.
It's about the car he wants to take to his prom, which isn't until fucking July.
Why do they just have the thoughts? They're just like, I've had a thought. I must immediately share it with you. It's like,
I know what he wants to take. I'm a little bit... I'm not against it, but I'm a little bit like, this is a ridiculous idea. I'm not going to tell you what it is, because if we pull it off, it will be very funny. But it is also ridiculous. Because, like, all you know, oh, this guy's getting a limo. Oh, this guy's getting this classic car. He's gone off on his own tangent. This dude lives his own life, his own race. It's fantastic. And if we can pull it up, yeah, they do prom at the end of primary school as well, Trisk.
Oh, they fucking love an excuse to make parents suffer now.
Yeah.
They did a disco for my lot, but my lot.
Yeah. They're calling it prom. So
it's kind of cute though.
It is kind of cute. He has a suit already, which we bought for less than pleasant reasons, but he's not had to use it. So he's got a suit to wear. He'll get some nice shoes, and yeah,
that's cute.
Anyway, shall we try and start this again?
I've stopped laughing now, so it's good. We're good. We're in a good place.
Okay, we'll try again then. In 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome to Talking Shit, the show where we talk about the big and important things and invite you to learn with us. My name's Demeter, but you can call me Demi, and I am definitely not an expert in anything. But we are here because we want to learn and grow and provide a safe place for the topics of today, which this week is extremely topical because we are talking about the hottest app, TikTok. As the US government have called TikTok CEO Sh1t, and I apologise if I've pronounced that wrong, to explain how Wi-Fi works. We're talking about the app and the impact that it's had on us. But before we get to that, I have to introduce my staggeringly wonderful co-host, Cap. How are you this week?
I'm staggering. That's how I am. Staggering deliriously towards the end of the week, I think would be how I am. Yes, lovely.
That makes sense.
It's all going marvellously. So, thanks for asking. How are you this week?
Well, apart from having life or death situations with my child just as we were about to go live on air, or we had gone live, I'm absolutely fine. Yes, I'm enjoying the week off work. I'm enjoying a bit of extra time to do the things that I enjoy, like streaming and hanging out with friends and walking the doggo. And tomorrow, I think, will be the thrilling excitement of a bit of housework, but that's okay because I'll just potter and it's fine.
Love that.
Yeah.
This sounds like a good week.
Yeah, and I've got a whole other week off next week as well. It's amazing.
Oh, bliss.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah. It's kind of, it's very nice. It's very, very nice, I have to say. And I deliberately scheduled it when kiddo was at school this week so that I actually have a week of no child while he's at school, which is nice as well. So,
as important as a time off to support their holidays is to make sure that you also have a holiday.
Have a goddamn break. Absolutely, yes. But those sorts of topics will be covered in a later podcast, I'm sure, because we have parenting on the list, and we could probably do about 6 podcasts just on parenting.
That's a series.
Yeah, we'll do like a bonus series of just parenting ones.
Yeah, and then we do childcare.
Here's some tips and tricks, and here's what not to do.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, this week, so I do like a little bit of social media. I like TikTok quite a lot, and although I'm on there, I don't really create a lot on there. I tend to be more of a consumer than a creator on TikTok. But obviously it's very hot and in the news right now. So I wanted to chat a little bit about it. So we're going to kick off with some interestingly quite dull, actually, statistics about TikTok. These are straight out of Google. You do not need to go far to find these statistics if you want to have a look for yourself. So we all know that it's Chinese owned, but the version in China is called Douyin, and it has slightly different parameters. There are certain things in China that you can't do that you can do on the other version of TikTok. Obviously, those of us who have come to TikTok a little bit later may not know that it started out in 2017, but saw the huge rise during 2020 when everybody was in lockdown, and basically, I think the world, except me, decided that they were going to learn dance routines at home, and this went mad around TikTok. It has over 2.5 billion daily active users. That does include the Chinese version, but that's like a third of the world's population, somewhere between a third and a half.
Yep.
Which I have confirmed in my net statistic, if I'd only read a little bit further on my own show notes, it's used by 30% of the world's internet users. So there you are, a third. So
it's pretty huge. It's pretty mammoth.
Absolutely incredible and that is significantly helped by the fact that people count the Chinese numbers in there, because not all social media sites have Chinese access, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're in China, unless you're using a VPN, effectively you're not accessing most Western social media. Correct. Most of the things that we would sort of take for granted as, this is the internet, everyone has it. So
not in China.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So this for those of you who may not be familiar with TikTok, it works by allowing people to create short form video content, and the algorithm reacts to how you interact with that content, whether you share it, save it, like it, comment it. Which is why it's a little bit hilarious that crumbly old white men in America are asking why they're being shown teenagers in skimpy clothes. Oh, did I say that was funny? I meant it's creepy as fuck. Because the algorithms on TikTok are very, very powerful at showing you more of what you like. They have got it down to a fine art. And lastly on this little section, TikTok was part of my journey into reclaiming my bisexuality, and it's also helping me get through the perimenopause by showing me other women going through it, talking about their symptoms and how they help treat themselves. So those are a couple of bits of information about TikTok. And what's been your experience there? Because we know obviously that we don't have TikTok, we have CapTok. So what's your experience been? What sort of things does it show you, and has that changed over time?
Oh God. Okay. Well, let's go on the emotional journey.
Yes, let's take this ride.
CapTok for me, because here's the thing. So obviously in the content creation space, TikTok is maybe a different thing to how other people encounter it. So when I first encountered it as just a general day-to-day user, I was like, oh, okay, this thing's massive. It's memeing, it's going viral, it's huge. What is going on? Yeah. And I went to it, and it's overwhelming. It's an assault on the senses. Like, you open that up and straight away it's like and there's 16 people dancing, and there's a dog, and a bird, and then there's a monkey, but talking with a Yorkshire accent. And like before you know it, you've lost half an hour of your life, and your brain
half an hour
like
is quick.
Puddle. Like it's intense. It's
very
really
intense, yeah.
It's a battery on the senses. But so I guess kind of like I was like, oh God, this is horrible. Is this my child's social media future? And I guess, I kind of quickly realized, clearly it is. So as a content creator, then I was like, well, I probably should get up in this because everybody else is. Now, I've had 3,760 on my most popular video, which was just me being weird on playing a game.
Was it the bird one?
I think it was the burp one. Yeah, it was like where I was like, "You okay, hun?" That. Yeah. And that's it. So I thought, well, let's try out some other content, some LGBT content.
Yeah.
Nothing, a couple of 100, 300. No one's really interested in doing anything good on TikTok, like charity work or supporting the LGBT community. But that's still more views than a tweet's going to get.
Yeah.
But I guess my experience has been that, unlike Twitter of past, because that's a whole other thing that's happening this week.
I'm sure we'll get a topic on that as well.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to on old musky pants. What a treat for the senses that chap is. But the general sort of gist of TikTok has been that I don't know if it's a great place to drive traffic or engagement or I don't really still know what it's for, other than being a bit of a muppet in the shortest possible video, because you might grab someone's attention for a second. So that's been my experience, really. I still try and use it sometimes.
Yeah, I'd say it sounds like... so my experience has been overwhelmingly positive as a consumer, but I am not really posting content on there. I'll do the odd thing every now and again. So I am not really using it at present, I would say. That may well have to change in light of what's happening on Twitter, which is my primary social media.
But then is TikTok a reasonable competitor? It's a very different form of content, and it's a whole different ballgame. Trying to get something interesting for Twitter is totally different to trying to get something interesting for TikTok.
Yeah.
So it's very energy intensive, both as a user to view it, but also I think as a producer of content.
Yeah, I think unless you're, I am not great at video editing, and I'm also not very good at short hot takes. I need a bit more longer form to do stuff, and that's why I'm probably not TikTok as a content creator for me is probably not a great space. I'm not snappy enough. I can do opinions and opinion pieces, but I can't boil them down into a minute. I need longer than that. So a lot of what I'm sharing most of the time is reposts of other people's things that I generally I only repost stuff that I approve of. And that I agree with, but the experience that I've found that I've noted as I've gone through TikTok is how my algorithm has changed. So when I first got on there, it was a lot of cis-het men doing thirst traps, and that was fine for a little while, but it gets quite boring, and there's this thing around people doing minimum effort, and if you're just standing there with your shirt off walking towards the camera licking your lips and doing that really weird thing of where they lick their lips and then go hey girl or something, I'm like, no, it's cringe, I don't like it. And I very quickly got into LGBTQIA plus TikTok, and now I have things like cooking and pets and LGBTQIA plus people and some politics, and I've seen some really interesting stuff, and then I have completely random stuff that doesn't fit into any of that, but is just nice communities and has a nice feel around it. There's a content creator called Mama Tot, or nicknames Mama Tot, and her community is called the Tater Tots, which caused the Andrew Tate fans a bit of disgruntlement because they couldn't claim tater tots.
Sounds like more tater as well.
Yeah. And she just has these lovely videos where she will, you know, she'll approach the camera and say, "Hey, darling," and she's got a deep Southern accent which I can't do, and she'll go, I know, it's been tough. Come on, I'm going to sit with you and we'll eat." And she just sits and talks to you like she's a proud parent. And it's so validating and so heartwarming that she's just incredible. And there's a guy called Uncle Copper, who also has a strong, I think, Southern accent. But he sits in his truck. He's got like one of those big American utility trucks.
So he's called Uncle Trucker.
Uncle Copper. Sorry, Uncle Copper. Yeah,
Uncle Trucker. And I was like, that's unfortunate.
No. But he sits there and he's got he's like traditional cowboy hat on, and he'll always have a can of Monster, and he's kind of like the male version of Mama Tot, and he will say nice things, but then he does these comedy skits as well. Mama Tot does little comedy skits. They're just, all these people are, they're building powerful and loving communities, and that's one of the things that appeals to me about TikTok. That's one of the things that keeps me going back, is seeing these people who are bringing positivity, humor. It's also the fact that it is not, if you think about Instagram built its site on images, on stills, right? And to be deemed good in the Instagram algorithm, you have to generate a lot of likes and interaction, as you do with TikTok,
which is really hard.
It is really hard. The other thing is, on Instagram, people edit their photos a shit ton before they get on there, and it prizes the aesthetic. So if you don't look like the stereotypical Instagram model, then you get penalised. You know, because we are aesthetic creatures as much as it's not necessarily the best use of our time. We like pretty things. So if you're looking at an aesthetically pleasing image and you get more eyeballs on it, then that does well. TikTok, it seems to be allowing people to express other sides of their personality. I see things about people addressing trauma, about people exploring their sexuality, non-binary people, trans people, and these communities where they literally support each other. They'll talk to each other in the comments section and help each other out. I might be a bit naive, but it does give me some hope for the human race. And that's kind of been my experience of it, and coming across other single parents, people who are using things to educate. I can't remember her name, but there is a woman who shows you every day. She does a daily squeeze along, and it is to help you do your Kegel exercises.
Oh.
And she holds...
Hey.
Yeah, she holds like a plastic model of the pelvic bone, and she'll have a song on, and she'll just do her hand like this. So squeeze and hold, quick squeezes, short, slower squeezes, and you just do it for like 20 to 30 seconds. But she's showing you how to do your Kegels.
So I think what I'm learning here very quickly is that TikTok has what you see, your experience of the internet more and more, and I think certainly in the case of TikTok, is very dependent on the algorithm that you kind of set up for yourself through your own liking and viewing and so on and so forth. And I think that's certainly clear on on other sites. So quite often I'll sort of hear from people on Twitter who are like, God, Twitter's so toxic, and I'm like, fucking hell, my feed's just like cats and streamers and cute people that I like, and occasionally some porn. So it's like, that's my Twitter feed, so I don't know why everybody else is having such a bad time. So I do think it's it is about what you engage in.
Curate your space, yeah.
I think that's perhaps really pronounced in the TikTok space, because I'm just looking down my feed. It is predominantly DIY.
I have DIY
things.
too.
and comedians.
I have DIY comedians. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a lot of stand-up comedy in here.
Yeah.
But also a lot of like weird stuff. Just like random weird stuff.
Well, did you know that there is a not interested option?
Yeah, I need to get on that because there's definitely some content that I've seen that I'm like, I mean, I'm sort of low-key looking at now being like,
why am I seeing
this?
What
the hell is this? Yeah, why is
that
this?
Works too. That shows them, I don't want to see stuff like this. Don't show me any more of it. And that will, like when I was getting bored of the bare-chested men all the time, I was like, no, I don't want to see this anymore. And I said not interested, and then my feed rapidly started to change. And it does evolve over time, depending on who I've interacted with most recently. So I didn't used to have cooking stuff, and I started, there was a person doing cooking content where it's one pot cooking content. And I was like, that's amazing. That is exactly what I need, because I cannot be bothered to do loads of dishes. So,
I've seen some hideous things in those one pot cooking things.
Yeah,
though.
There can
the
be
other
some
day,
really
I was
bad ones.
watching somebody food blend spaghetti, and I was like, "What are you doing?" I didn't even watch it to the end.
No,
I
saw somebody shoving spaghetti into a blender, and I was like, "No."
Yes, I think it's the same one, and I just noped out. I was like, "This is stupid."
Yeah,
like get some flour. Like, I don't know what you're doing.
No, I don't know what they're doing. No.
But I wonder, some of these things I'm like, are they trolling? Like,
some people definitely are trolling, 100%.
Right.
Yeah. And there are people doing some very dry humour as well. That, like, unless you follow their account, you probably would think they were just weird. There are people doing very dry humour. And, but overwhelmingly, the experience that I've had has been positive. It's educated me, as I say. The perimenopause has helped. There's so many people talking about it, and to find that I am actually not going crazy. It is the perimenopause is really, really affirming. Triskin chat has mentioned Mercury Stardust. Mercury Stardust is the I can't quite remember their full handle. It's the Handy something. But she is a trans creator who's currently trying to raise $1 million for trans-related healthcare. Trans handyman, that's it. Thank you, Tris.
Yeah, trans handyman. I just looked it up.
Yeah, through TikTok. And she's regularly on my feed. And that, frankly, is the best of both worlds, because she gives me handy DIY tips whilst being trans and having the most beautiful purple hair.
She's got a good hair game, this one.
She's got a very good hair game.
Good hair game.
So there's things like that I have trans people in my life. Some of them, for understandable reasons, don't feel safe to put themselves out there. So when you see trans people putting themselves out there and doing their best to help other members of the trans community, I think, they deserve all of our support and love. However we can give that support. Not everybody can give monetary support, and that's okay, that's valid. But yeah, I've definitely come across those people. And people on journeys, that's one of the powerful things as well, is you see people learning and growing and being on their own journey as well. I mean, the first time I stumbled into masked lesbian TikTok and non-binary TikTok, I was I was like, maybe I do like women, and then I was like, yeah, I like women, and I knew this, I just didn't quite realise.
So you're using it to kind of to explore, to affirm things, to kind of get some feel good vibes. Why are you not creating content in that space?
I don't feel equipped to make content there yet. I don't feel like I've got a handle on how I would do it, and I am quite slow at getting a handle on these things. I have been quite slow. Like, I started streaming in 2019, and I think it's only in the last year, really, that I've kind of nailed down what I want my stream and everything to be, and what I want the community on my stream to be. So it takes me a while to figure it out, and I'm still in that place on TikTok.
Yeah,
and I
relate to that.
Yeah, it takes me a while to figure it out, and I have to watch a lot. And there are content creators who literally just rip off other content creators' work.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, you definitely see that, but I think TikTok's kind of design encourages that to some extent with this kind of duetting and all the different tools you've got to kind of like react to, live react, duet, all these kind of interesting things. I don't really have no idea what they mean, but you sort of see people doing it, and you're like, oh, okay,
yeah.
So it kind of it's a bit of almost a bit of an enabler in that way, really. That it is helping people interact with and play along with other people's content in a way that no other platform does, which it does make it unique. It does give it a USP that no other platform has. So
yeah, it's I think as I've said, my overall experience of it has been largely positive. I've not had anybody trolling me on anything that I have posted. If anything, I've had overwhelmingly positive interactions with people as well.
Yeah.
And there's also very much an attitude I've noticed particularly in LGBTQ community, that we don't tolerate any shit. And if people come for people in our community on TikTok, our community has our back. Yeah. And we stick up for each other. And this idea that you have to ignore the trolls and rise above it, no, we take them to task. We're not standing for that shit anymore. And that's been quite empowering as well. Because from watching people like yourself and other people in our community, snap back at trolls and saying, I'm not going to rise above it, actually. I'm going to give you a taste of your own medicine, because we don't have to be gooder to butcher Margaret Atwood. And I think sometimes it's dangerous to ignore those things, because they then go and do it to somebody else who might not just brush it off. It might really upset them and could have severe negative consequences. So I think there is a place for fighting back, and I think TikTok has helped not just give me the strength to do it, but feel I am entitled to that. I am allowed to fight back. I don't just have to sweep it under the carpet and move on and rise above it, as we're always told to do. I don't have to be the bigger person. And
do you see much kind of much of that kind of like trolling and negative behavior, poor commentary on TikTok? Because I've seen people, certainly within the queer community, get some pretty hateful commentary.
Yeah. So generally speaking, what I tend to see is the queer community reacting to those negative comments. But that's also because I don't, unless I'm actually going to comment myself, I don't usually go into comments very often. I tend to like something, save something. I might repost it. But that's generally, I'm liking stuff and then I'm moving on. So it's usually when I see them respond to comments. But that's still powerful. That's still showing people that we're valid and we're not gonna, just lie down and again just take whatever's been thrown at us. So it's I think to me it comes back to the thing of, it's given me quite a lot of hope for humanity, really. However, and I will caveat this,
there's always a but.
because a million years ago, Facebook was the new thing on the block. And I remember, like 2006, 2007, something like that. I was sitting at work, and I worked in catering at the time. And my boss said, get on Facebook. And I was like, I'm at work. I said, yeah, get on Facebook. So we were allowed to be on Facebook at work because we were exploring what this amazing new thing was and how we could connect with people. And, and the benefit of it for me was I was able to connect with family around the world on Facebook. And initially we thought that groups and communities and pages and things like that would be profoundly positive. Sadly, it's now just a cesspit. And, you know, I had this same sense of hope in 2007 about Facebook. So I am a little bit... I'm trying to, like, reserve my kind of hopefulness and joy. But yeah, I think there are people on there that are doing a lot of good, like Trans Handyman, like Mama Tot, Uncle Copper. There's this lady called Anne Russell, who is a cleaner, and she's always giving out cleaning tips. She responds to other people's cleaning videos and says, yeah, you don't have to use bleach for that, you can use this. This is what this product is called in the UK, because she's UK based. She's written 2 books off the back of her TikTok success, and because of that, she now has a nest egg that is going to support her while she has cancer treatment.
Wow.
You know,
that's life-changing stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, because it sounds like that is someone that has hit the kind of the holy grail, if you like, of monetizing TikTok.
Yeah, I mean, she's
they found a way. So
Anne is probably about 10 years older, 15 years older than me. So she's not yet 60, so she's probably in her 50s. She talks about all of this, and it's public knowledge, so I'm not, like, obviously not giving anything personal away. But she lives with her 2 adult children because they can't afford to move out, and they all work, and they all have their own room at home that they call their own, you know. And she says, I don't live in an Instagram worthy house. I live in a real house. There's stuff on the floor because I don't have the energy to do it when I get home from cleaning for other people, but I enjoy cleaning for other people. You know, she's just a very down to earth, very real woman. I think the first thing that I came across her was, I think she was taking on the TERFs, and and she was just walking down the street with, like, she had a cabled headphones on her phone, not AirPods. Like, I'm old fashioned, I still have the cabled ones. And I was like, who is this person talking all this sense? And then I saw how many views she's got, and I was like looking at her profile, and I was like, this woman's amazing. She's just really down to earth, you know. And I feel like in many ways, yes, there is an outrage side of TikTok. There are the horrible people. There are a lot of misogynists on there. Generally, the only time I see them is when I see people responding to them to take them down. So I know that that's out there as well. But it does seem that there is a place on TikTok for uplifting people and for building positivity, and challenging stuff and looking after people. And you just... It's like anything, you just have to curate what you see. So, yeah. For me, I found it overwhelmingly positive. So, I think you might need to use the not interested button a bit more.
I think I need to use not interested. I think, for me, I find it overwhelmingly overwhelming. So, I don't know if it's a platform I can look at. Yeah. Because it shows you and then you watch a thing, and then you watch another thing, and you go down kind of like a rabbit hole. I think somebody else described it as kind of a sort of a rabbit hole or a black hole. You sort of you do end up going down this sort of black hole, and I don't know if that's good. I do think what I like, what I'm hearing, and what I think I've seen as well, is that it's a way of getting closer to human experience. And because it's TikTok, because it's a video, it stops people hiding behind a user ID or an image or a fake account or whatever. If you're posting something, you're posting a video. So it's either of you, or you're being a shit and filming other people that shouldn't be filmed, and that's not going to go down well, and people won't react well to it anyway. So it as we go into the kind of video AI deepfakery space, I'm concerned about things like TikTok more and more. But in that sense, it probably does have an edge over some other social media where you're just hiding behind an avatar and a username of your choosing. You know, this is a little bit more real. But what it's doing in turn is giving people kind of a human experience. It feels like a very human app. It's very connected to other people. You feel like you're seeing somebody, and I think that has the same appeal to people as streaming. It's just streaming seems somehow less accessible than something like TikTok, which is very short format, quick, painless, in your pocket the hundreds of people you can tap on over the course of an hour. It's the immediacy of it.
It's the immediacy and the accessibility of it being in your pocket, whereas people, I mean, Twitch is awful experience on mobile. It is not a good experience to watch Twitch on your mobile. It's fine if you turn your phone landscape, but then you can't always see chat, and if you have chat open, it's over the screen that you're actually watching, so it's not great. But it and that means that it puts people off, you know. So unless you are like us sitting at home, or I think predominantly gamers understand Twitch more because we just do. It's part of our cultural experience, I suppose, now. But yeah, it can bring people together. We've got a couple of points. We've got one that came to us on Twitter from the amazing Lady A, who says that I cannot use TikTok as it's ADHD. Doom scrolling is not good for me, which completely understandable.
Yeah, it's kind of the point I was making as well around the doom scrolling, and you get sort of trapped into it, and then you suck it in, and then hours are gone, and you're like, and that has happened to me many times. And Twitch is bad. Twitter is bad enough for that, but so I can get out of it a bit easier.
I've found, so I allow myself, like, you've heard me talk about my morning ritual chair. So I have this beautiful chair that I will, most mornings, I will sit in this chair with my cup of hot water with a bit of lemon and salt in it in the morning, and I will check Twitter and TikTok. And I have an alarm set next to me on Alexa, because I need to shout at kiddo to get him ready for school. But I also then stop that at that time and go upstairs and start, dressing, doing ablutions and all the rest of it. So giving myself a little time limit has helped. I have fallen down to that rabbit hole, and I've noticed that I do it when I am I'm about to spiral into depression or something. It's either depression related or anxiety related for me, but that happens for me with all social media, and that's quite often when I will actually just take the apps off my phone for a bit. But I have found I can control myself better on TikTok. And I am a lot more discerning now than I used to be. I used to just watch whatever was put in front of me, and quite often now, if I don't want to watch no, next. I'll watch every single thing of Pedro Pascal, obviously, or Kate Blanchett. But yeah, there's quite a lot that I will just scroll through. Kay's another comment that Kay Wins has raised is that the filters on TikTok can be terrifying. They look like airbrush model pictures, but they're obviously real people who've then been airbrushed in real life. Now, we had a bit of fun with one of these recently, didn't we? Because we had the bold filter, the bold glam filter, which made me look like it's bizarre. It didn't look like, it looked like I had been airbrushed, and the big wrinkle on my forehead had been smoothed out and stuff. And then the teenage filter,
always good. The teen filter made me buy face cream. That's what that did. I was like, holy shit, I've got some damage to wind back here. So £160 worth of moisturizer later. So, I suppose it serves that purpose, but it's just weird. I don't think I'd ever publish anything with a filter.
No, I've done some of the silly ones. There's one. There was one where it was guess your age, and it told me I was 3. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll put that up. That's ridiculous.
Brilliant.
But that does show you that some of them are not great. And then there's ones where it's like, who would you kiss, who would you marry, and silly things like that. So some of the more ridiculous ones I will use publicly. I haven't posted any of the bold ones that really, a lot of people were saying this is frightening because it actually adapts to your face. And you put, usually on the filters, you'll put your hand across your face and you'll see the eyelashes or the lipstick will be posted on your hand instead of on your face. This one doesn't do that. It was really hard to tell that it was a filter, and it adapts to more masculine, feminine ones. Yes. So there is, you mentioned about deep fakes.
Yes.
There are 2 well-known deep fake TikTok accounts. They say that they're fake.
Okay.
And one of them has actually revealed how they do it. But one is for Tom Cruise, and one is for Keanu Reeves. And what they do is they get people who look a lot like Tom Cruise and Keanu Reeves, and then map over their faces.
Okay.
And the Tom Cruise one is absolutely phenomenal. It's incredible. It's deeply scary. But they talk about like how long it takes them to do one like 50-second video. It takes them weeks to shoot it and to then produce it afterwards. But yeah, that idea of deep fakes with AI and stuff is very scary. So
yeah. Well, in summary, I don't really know how I feel about TikTok. Still, really, I'm
still hopeful.
I'm now just doom scrolling through it, going, I guess it's okay. I just still don't know how I'm gonna create content in that space, or if I want to create content in that space. You know, it's interesting, but it's fun. It's fun to look at. Yeah. From time to time. That is my summary.
I think that's
summary for the week is TikTok's fun to look at from time to time.
It's worth taking it with all social media. It's worth, you know, taking that step back and just looking at it a bit, you know, from a bit of distance. Kay's also suggested that we look up Siberian derp skis. Doggos on TikTok are great. There is an account called by Cecilia who lives in Svalbard with her doggo Grim, and that is a great TikTok account to follow as well. Very wholesome content. But yeah, Kay's also raised the point about what the younger generation will aspire to look like because they might have unreasonable expectations based on social media. I think there is a flip side to that on TikTok because you see, certainly I do anyway, I see a lot more people as themselves. What the point I was trying to make earlier about Instagram was you had to be the Instagram model in quotation marks to be accepted on that platform. TikTok is much more open to different body shapes, different ages even, you know, and all of us just having you know, a space to be ourselves and be idiots and be funny or, you know, whatever it might be. And yes, people do call it out, you know, we might enjoy how we look with some of the filters, but a lot of the time we do call them out as well. So certainly I do if they're utterly ridiculous. But there's
it's the only thing I would say it kind of to just I guess couch that in algorithmic language in a way is that it sounds like TikTok's very good at putting you in a bubble.
Yes.
With other like-minded people because the algorithm. So I guess people that are probably going to troll you aren't seeing things that they control unless they're specifically looking for it and going out of their way. But also, you know, generally speaking, it looks like people are getting chucked into a bubble that they want to be in. That's not a bad thing, but you do just have to caveat that with the kind of the echo chamber effect of, you know, we all think the world is a certain way because we exist within our own echo chambers and we seek out subconsciously things that confirm our biases. So, you know, I think TikTok is another space where that can happen, and like anything, it needs to be taken with a pinch of salt. It's not a news resource. No. It is not a fact-based resource.
No, it's not. It's very opinion. There's a lot of opinion, there's a lot of human emotion, and obviously that helps drive connections. But yeah, it's not a trustworthy news source. The amount of things that I've seen on there and I've been like, right, I'm going to go and look at this, and you're like, this is a bunch of crap. You know, so you can I think one of the things that I think will happen for the younger generations is they will be more adept at sussing out the shit. Because they will have they are having to be now, and they're calling people on their shit as well. So, you know, all social media can be problematic, and it is up to us as adults to navigate it first, I suppose, and find where those safeguards are and learn how to protect our peace, so that, especially for those of us as parents, when our children are ready for it, like kiddos asked about it, and I said, no chance. No, it's not happening. He also has YouTube Shorts, which has been mentioned in chat, which a lot of people just post their TikToks to YouTube Shorts. Yeah. So, but you know, we have to, as adults, we have to know how to navigate this space, especially as parents, because then we can help our children. But to be honest, in his case, he's pretty good. he knows like what's wrong, and you know, like if something makes him uncomfortable, it's like, I don't want any more of that, thanks. And every now and again, I'll like, I'm not eavesdropping per se, but I'll overhear something. I'll be like, nah, that ain't it. Get rid of that. And he does, and it's fine. He asked me tonight what my t-shirt means. My t-shirt says feminist as fuck. And he was like, what does feminist mean? And he went and Googled it, and he was like, all right, okay, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I would say, as a parent of a very different child, none of that is safe for my kid.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, like you say, really important, I think. And this is something that is absolutely key. You know, I believe TikTok is 18 plus. I believe to have an account, it's be 18.
It's 13 plus if you do the copper form.
So 13 plus with like adult permission, effectively.
Yes, I think it's 13
so
plus with the copper form. Anyway,
these kids at primary have TikTok, and they shouldn't. No. So I guess kind of, you know, as a parent, I sort of pleading with other parents to please do your research and understand what you're exposing your child to, because it's the internet. It's the whole internet. It's everything on the internet, including nudity and phobias and isms and all sorts. So, you know, you have to do like you've done. You have to think about, what's your child capable of? Is that a safe space for them to exist in right now? And I can confidently tell you that it is not an appropriate or safe space for my child. So your child's in a different place. That's great. But that has to be a parent-driven decision, and it has to be driven from a place of understanding it. So if your kid comes to you and says, oh, hey, my friends all have TikTok, don't assume that's okay.
No.
You get TikTok. You figure out if it's okay for you and your child, and then you sign them up and manage that account until they are an adult and 18 and can have their own account solo without parental support. And I think that's a really key message with all social media. In fact, all internet media,
everything
period.
On the internet,
the news, even to some extent. You know, there are news programs for children from reputable resources. You know, it's helping children understand what's real, what's not. You know, what could be faked, what's opinion, what's news, what's fact, what's fiction, and what's safe. And unfortunately, my child is a learn the hard way child that will see anything on TikTok and then try and repeat it. You know, the dishwasher tablets are very bland coloured, and they are out of the way all the time. There are locks on certain doors in the house to keep things out of the way and secure. So you know, you have to plan for what your child is likely to do and how they can regulate their behaviour and look after their own well-being.
Absolutely. And it's, you know, it shows, I think, just between the two of us, how children of different ages, different approaches can handle things differently.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
They need to be approached differently. You know, you have to understand their needs. There'll be another kid in my son's school, and they may not be allowed on YouTube or anything. You know, they may have very limited access to the internet because that's what their parents have deemed is safe for them. You know, my kid has quite a lot of internet access, and when we get the occasional panicky message from school about ridiculous things like your children shouldn't be watching Squid Games because they've been reenacting Squid Games in the playground, and you're like, they don't even know what it is. They haven't watched it. They've just heard the name. And you think they're
unfortunately, some of the kids have watched it.
Well, yeah.
Unfortunately.
But they then think everybody's watched it.
Dare I challenge where we live, because obviously we live in two very different places, but a lot of the kids had watched it. It's
we started it,
but it only takes one or two, and kids all communicate. So that's the thing, you know. If your child doesn't have TikTok, please know that they do have access to TikTok through somebody else's phone.
More than likely,
that is absolutely how it is. But that's why it's so important to have those conversations and make sure that you're talking to your kids about TikTok, even if you don't let them have access in your own home or on your own Wi-Fi or on their own phone. Even if your kid doesn't have their own phone,
because don't forget that
they will be using other people's.
Don't forget that TikTok can access the Wi-Fi at home. I can't believe that was a question. Oh, poor America. You've got those people in charge. Anyway.
Yes. So there we are.
Yes, that, you know, basically, if you're using social media, be careful. like you would be with anything else. But my overall experience of TikTok has been very positive, and I am hoping that Caps will now start to be a little bit more positive.
Yeah, it's not been negative. It's just been do I want to have the experience?
Yeah, do I want to be here?
I feel like I've learnt more today, and I'm ready to go into the future and maybe doom scroll TikTok a bit more, or I might just go and have a look and be like, oh god, it's still too hectic.
Don't doom scroll. You know, if you see something you don't like, say not interested, or swipe on it so fast that it'll stop filtering. You'll be fine.
I don't even know what's happening when I'm just like, what's going on?
Yeah, what is this? Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see if I can get over the chaos that is.
And if it's if it's not for you, it's not for you, is it? You know.
That's also true.
Yeah. It's like all things. If it doesn't vibe with you, it doesn't matter.
Indeed.
So why don't you tell us where you're going to be this week on the internets?
Gosh, I am going to be hopefully mostly in bed. No, I'm going to be I'm going to be in the usual places across the internet at TheKapFantastic on TikTok, would you believe, Twitter, Insta, YouTube, and of course TheKapFantastic on Twitch as well. I have some streams coming up over the weekend, and of course next week you can always check the schedule online on my Twitch page, and that is where you will find me in the worlds of Warcraft and Final Fantasy.
Marvellous. Bit of Eorzea and a bit of Azeroth.
Oh yes.
Well, I've done a stream today, which was lots of fun. I did one last night that was utter chaos, and I'm considering whether I'll stream tomorrow, which will be Friday the 31st of March.
Well, nearly April.
Because yes, April 1st is my birthday tipathon, which we're starting at 4 p.m. Initially going till 11 p.m. and anything tipped over that will carry the stream on, and yeah, that's where that's what we're getting up to. We have a Final Fantasy 14 ceremonial bonding ceremony, which will be lovely. We have both written vows for our characters, and that's going to be about 10 p.m. We've got some giveaways, we've got all that stuff happening, and then next week it'll be my normal streaming schedule from 7. So
lovely.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing this week. Thank you everybody for joining us via Twitch chat and for the comments on Twitter. You can find the show on Twitter. It's at Talking Shit with a 1 where the I would be in shit. So Talking Sh1t show on Twitter, and we will see you again next time.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
And we'll call that out. Apparently your camera has started blinking.
It is. It's my fault. Because we were the time I was meant to start streaming, I opened Streamlabs and it's on the same camera. So I was like, oh, maybe I can do my starting soon screen whilst we're still chatting.
We are very late. We were late. We were late getting started. We're late with everything. So yeah. Anyway,
we're meant to be doing 30-minute shows, weren't we? So we've got to get. I think we've got to get punchier.
Yeah. I thought I'd actually stripped out a lot of those notes.
The notes look really punchy as well. I think really just terrible for a tangent.
Well, we just like chatting together. That's okay. Anyway, loves, I am going to hit the be right back because my child has messaged me while we were doing this and he obviously needs some attention. So I am going to dip, talk to him, and then we'll be back on this channel for, I don't know what we're going to do. Maybe some more Final Fantasy for this evening. And obviously you could, yes, Canarek, you can go and see Cap now.
Yeah,
I'm going to Cap now.